Can we all just stand up real quick? Everyone stand up, stand up, stand up. I love conferences. I love being out here. I respect all of you for literally being here, wanting to learn more, be a better person, a better marketer, a better business owner. So let's all just clap for ourselves, for you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you to the whole Now Marketing Group team. Did we get the photo? We do that so I can get a really nice photo of everyone, the standing ovation. So thanks, guys. Appreciate that. So we are talking about Facebook ads today. There's been a lot of changes with Facebook ads, with iOS. I don't know. Are these mine? Okay. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. So you might be wondering, who is this guy here? Well, yeah, as Chad had said, a funny story there. I was smelling those roses, and I felt like they smelled great, but then I look at, there's like a $2.99 tag on each one. They were plastic. I was like, okay, so they did smell good in my head. But anyway, so spent millions on ads profitably. A great quote from Agorapost, one of the smartest ad experts in the industry. I think Jennifer said that, so thank you, Jennifer. And then I've been on different publications and did interviews for different companies and whatnot. So a little bit about me there. I also, as you've heard, love just traveling the globe. So there's me and different areas there. I like going to California. It's nice and sunny, not as hot as where I'm at in Arizona right now. So it's great. I used to be with the Now Marketing Group team as well, running ads for them. And have ran ads for e-commerce businesses. Like Chad has said, we wasted millions of dollars for different brand owners. Experimenting. So we're going to get right into it here. We're going to cover the 5 keys to Facebook ads. You might realize I'm not really going to be showing a lot of like ad account stuff because like with iOS now, a lot of it's just changed, and we're really getting back to the fundamentals of like what is a good business and how can we make that a thing now. It's a lot more complicated. You can't sell fidget spinners and like do drop shipping as well as you could have before, where you might not even had a business. It might have been just propped up by Facebook ads. So it's changed quite a bit. So the first key we're going to talk about is the foundation. So really, it just comes down to your goals. That's like literally step one. That's the first question I pretty much ask anyone when I talk to, is what do you want people to do? What are you actually trying to accomplish, right? And a lot of times this is kind of the no idea. Likes, I don't know, followers. This is probably what you want to be thinking about a little bit more. Show me the money. Shout out Top Gun, Maverick, Tom Cruise. You really want to get excited. You want to think about what do we want to accomplish? What do we want people to actually do? And then you can kind of work back and figure out what those goals are. So maybe it's something like you want 1,000 email signups, you want 50 leads a month, or you want $5,000 in sales, $2 million in sales, $50,000 in sales. I'm happy with any amount of money in sales. So your goal, you just want to write it out. Like think about it, write it out, especially if you're working with an advertiser like me or an agency, or you're doing it yourself. You really just want to think about what is that foundation, what are we trying to accomplish, what is that goal? So it might be something like, I want to spend $500 a month, $1,000 a month, $2 million a month. I don't know why they trusted me with that money, but I'll do it to acquire X amount of customers. Because if you don't have these goals, you don't know if your ad is performing like hot lava or like that poop emoji. I don't think I have a poop emoji. And I'm worried. I know people have like coffees and stuff, but we might risk it and just go for it. I don't think I can hit the chandelier anymore, so that's good. So that's your main key. Your number one is the foundation. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. Number 2 is research. This is like my bread and butter. Kim was talking about that really well, just like getting really clear on what your messaging is, and research can really help you out. So kind of how we do this, when you guess, you waste your money. It's flying away there. You really don't want to do that. I talk to people all the time, and I love interviewing business owners, and I'm like, why do people buy from you? What do they love your products for? What do they love your service for? What makes you different? And sometimes people know, and sometimes they don't know. A great example, I used to go to, I'm wearing a hat because I have a terrible haircut, and I used to go to this barber shop in Bellevue when I was there. It's a big tech area in Seattle area, and I'd go in because I knew I could get in and get out in like 10 minutes. There was never a wait. They had like 20 people that were there cutting hair the whole time, and I was like, this is great. But the haircut was literally terrible. Like this is why I wear a hat all the time. But it was a good deal. And if this business owner talked to customers, they might know people love coming here because It's a busy area. Most places have really long lines. But there's a lot of business owners I've found that just don't talk to customers, and they don't know why do people actually love working with you, coming to your business or whatnot. Again, it's a weird thing. You might think, oh, we give good haircuts. But no, I didn't honestly care about that. I was like, I don't have time. I just want to go get a good haircut, not a good one, get a haircut, and leave in a matter of minutes, right? So that's why I would go there. When you guess, again, if you're not doing that research, this is you. This was me last night no, I'm just kidding. So this is kind of what you want to do with your research. If you've seen the show Catfish, they get kind of creepy. They go really deep. They're like, this is actually a girl, and and she's acting like him, and like all that kind of stuff. This is like how deep and creepy down the rabbit hole I can get a lot of times with customers. I go really deep. I'm looking at things like comments. I'm looking at their profiles even, like what's in the background of their profile, what's on their Instagram page. What are like their favorite sports teams? Where do they shop online? What's their favorite magazines? All this kind of stuff can really help you kind of build out this avatar and learn a lot more about like who's actually shopping from you. I'm going to preface this with there's a lot of slides. We're going to get through a lot of it. You will get all this online, so don't worry if you don't miss taking notes on he said Catfish, Neve, I don't know. There it is. So you want to get really deep with your research. Some of the things that we do is we really tell business owners talk to your customers. Show of hands, how many of you have talked to the top 1% of your customers in the last 30 days? Okay. Okay. George Ash, of course. I heard you were at the gym at midnight last night. You're crazy. Yeah, so you really want to talk to these customers because you're going to find out, especially that top 1%, what do they shop for you for? What's the use case? Why are they buying from you? All that kind of stuff. Talk to your customers. That's the number one method you can just go and do today, right? A thing that I love to do is look at 5-star reviews. I help a lot of e-commerce businesses. So you want to look at those reviews and see what are people mentioning? Again, what are the use cases? What's their avatar? Did they, I've seen people you'd be surprised how much people just spell out their life in a review. It's crazy. It's I was in the military, I retired, I had a back surgery, and I'm like, this is awesome. I'm just writing down all the notes. Okay, cool. We can target this guy this way and, get all creepy Facebook targeting on them. And then a third one that's great is competitor research. So just looking at what are other people doing in the market. I like to use it for more ad inspiration. And one of the things I like to do is I'll just screenshot a bunch of the ads with the Facebook ad library. And I'll go and I'll look at concepts. I help a cooler company now, and we look at things and see Igloo's doing camping scenes. They're doing surfing and boating type things. So I'll kind of gather a lot of this data on concepts, and we can get different ideas there of maybe we're missing something, maybe we're not, maybe we're different too. But you really want to dive in and see that kind of competitor research. Another thing you can do too is you can go into Google Analytics and even Google Ads, and they have really good data there. Facebook used to have it. It's kind of going away now post-iOS, sadly. But you can do a lot there. And another thing I'll do, too, is I'll look at Amazon. So if you're selling e-commerce especially, go to Amazon. They make it really easy. They'll show you kind of the trending keywords. If you're just starting out, literally look at competitors, look at people that are doing it already, and even look at different industries and see what people are doing better than you might be doing to get ideas and inspiration when it comes to creative, which we'll get into here in a bit. So this is going down the fun, creepy research rabbit hole that I do. This is with a keto, gluten-free, dairy-free company that I work for. You can see here, we went and we basically read through. What I like to do is I read through the top 100 latest reviews. And what I do, you'll see here on the right column, benefits, and then on the left, I might write pain points that people are mentioning. And where it gets really cool is this count on the very right here. So then I just sort by the amount of pain points or benefits that people are saying, and then we can say, is this distribution equal? Is it one-sided? So you can see for them, for this example, I kind of wrote a line there, kind of at the 11s there. Oops, I went back. So you can see delicious and yummy is number 37. Obviously, they're a cookie brand. They're a healthy cookie brand, so most people are does it actually taste good? Does it taste like cardboard? What's going on here? So you want to think about that. Go through, read the data if you have the data. If not, again, talk to your customers or whatnot. And then a lot of things that I like to do is I'll do these questions with business owners at the beginning, and I'll see what they say, and I'll see, does this actually line up? Are people shopping here for a good haircut, or are they shopping here because they can get in and out really quickly, and do we see them saying that? So it can be really cool. Another thing you can do if you don't have a lot of ads and comments and things like, if you don't have a lot of reviews, you can look at like ad comments, even like with your competitors. You can kind of gather the same data if you're brand new or something. Look at how other people are talking about different competitors and brands that are similar to yours and see like what are they mentioning that they love about the product. So it's really cool. Again, people divulge like way too much information. I'm one of those people, obviously. And then another great thing to do is to make a word cloud. So what I like to do is get like the 4 and 5 star reviews, gather all that data. You can just like copy paste it. Basically, there's a tool called Monkey Learn that does word clouds. And you can see here we did this with this company. You can see like peanut butter stands out, delicious, sugar, treat, love, those types of things. And again, it's really cool because now I'm not really guessing. I kind of can see why people love this brand. So when it comes to looking at the website and seeing how they're building out this website, does it align with that? Are they talking about how yummy and delicious they are? Are they pushing like they're cheap or they come with sustainable packaging or something like that? Does that line up or is there a gap? So a great thing to do. Another thing I like to do too is gather the lower reviews, the 1 and 2 star reviews. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to look at those. But you can get really good information there too. So gather those, do another word cloud and see like what are people complaining about. And you can learn a lot of information there. I do that a lot with every client that I work with. And they're like, yeah, we had this issue and this. And I'm like, oh, I know because your customers have been telling you. So it's really good. Look at that stuff. And then you can see too like, are they complaining about shipping times, about your packaging? Is there something that went wrong before? Is it something that is not your fault, whatever it is? And you can say, like, do we want to address this problem? Do we want to not mention it as much? Do we want to not say these words that much that people are complaining about? Or is there an objection that we can then handle and add to the website? So that's research, really diving into the data and figuring out, again, like not guessing, figuring out what are people actually loving my business for? Why are they coming here? Talk to your customers. The third one is setup. So I had a great call with a consultant once that was doing ads for an attorney. And again, step one, what are your goals is what I said. And he was like, I want people to call the attorney. And I go to the website and I'm looking around. I'm like, where's the phone number? And like some of this stuff is so basic, and that's like kind of why like this is way more high level because there's a lot of business owners that just want to push ads and run ads because they think like ads are going to save me. And like I'm here to tell you, I'm sorry, iOS screwed up a lot of that now, where like we can't just prop up a business on ads. Like you have to get these foundations in place. So again, think about your goals. Are you trying to get people to call you? I know Kim was showing this really well with like calls to actions and things above the fold, very clear messaging. Like, do you have a phone number somewhere very easily for someone to call you? This is an interesting one. So an 80-year-old, a drunk person, and a 12-year-old. What do these 3 things have in common? You don't have to guess. It's kind of a weird mix of people. One of the things you really want to do, though, and one of the things that I love doing with clients is looking at their site. I think about this, and I think about someone that's never heard about your business. There's a lot of people that they get way too involved in their business, so they just think like, they assume things like, oh, Tony does ads. He spent this amount of money. They all know that. I don't need to say that. I don't need to show the press releases. I don't need to talk about these case studies and things like that. But that's not really how it works. Like a lot of people, again, they're way too involved in the business, so they don't take a step back. So I feel like I'm really good at doing that with clients, where I look at the site and I'm like, okay, what does someone that knows nothing about your business think about when they go there? What are you offering me? What are you doing? All that kind of stuff. And then what would a 80-year-old person think? What would a drunk person think? And what would a 12-year-old think? How would they navigate the site? So you have to really think about, I want to say dumbing down the message. I don't know if that's the best word, but being really clear with your messaging on your site and making it really easy for people to understand what's going on. So tips real quick to make your site better. Clarity, again, is way better than being clever. Don't inject brand lingo and all these things. I remember working with a brand. They had like mini-versity because their brand was mini something. And I was like, is this a course? Is this training? Are you selling something? And it was unclear. So you really want to think about that, like just adding clarity over being clever. Another easy one is just make it pop. So that phone call that you might want someone to do, make that stand out on your site. Make it be a button that's bright and different color than everything else. Very simple. And then reduce friction. This is a huge one too. There's a lot of distractions on sites. People have pop-ups, they have videos, they have things flying, and you want to think too, like, is this actually too distracting? So there's things that you can do with testing and whatnot to reduce friction. And then we're talking about ads, so get your Pixel installed. Reach out to me, guys, if you need any help on Pixel-related stuff. It's slightly more complicated now with events and things like that. All right, so we're going to speed it up a little bit. I know I'm pressed on time here. So how can you make a better performing site? What I would say post iOS now is make specific landing pages. What's hard now is data is not crystal clear. So make different landing pages now so you can literally look at the data. Like we're sending ad traffic to this page and there's no organic going here. So we can really see the numbers a lot more clearly than if we're kind of mixing organic and SEO and things and all that traffic with ad traffic. Use a heat map. Hotjar is a great site. You can use a heat map and literally see where people are clicking, where they're scrolling. What's really cool about that is you can see, are they clicking on something really low on my site, or are they clicking on something really high up on the site? And if they're clicking on something low, you probably should move it up a little higher, right? So like you can go into that data. You can see if people are angry clicking. Like you might see that sometimes. Like they think it's a button, but it's not a button. I do that all the time. And then ask someone to do a task. This is, again, like talking to your customers, but even like ask your brother, your sister, your mom, your friend, like, hey, can you add something to the cart, or can you try to call me? And just see their process and have them talk it out. You can learn so much about it. It's like very simple stuff that a lot of people just don't do. All right, so that's set up. We're going to go into creative really quick. Creative's huge now, especially post-iOS. Targeting's gotten a lot more challenging. So a lot of targeting is going a lot more broad. So your creative is really key and crucial. It always has been. But you really want to think about how are we grabbing attention right at the front of a video. So we're going to get into that. So you must show the right message to the right people at the right time. So you really want to think like, where are people at in their buyer's journey? Do they know about my product? Do they not? How do we educate them? What are we trying to get them to do? And show that message visually. So again, think, why would someone buy this? What do we need to be putting in that messaging? Use your research. Great tip there. So do the research. This is a step that some people just don't do, but that I'm telling you, it'll save you so much money. Just do some research up front. This is an example of an ad with a horrible hook. You'll see there's a roller coaster drop-off cliff here. This is one of my videos. You know, I wasn't watching Owen's videos for all his tips at the time, so I was like, oh, people are just dropping off a cliff here. So this is what you'll see if your hook just is terrible. Like, everyone's just leaving the video. They're not on Facebook to watch an ad, for one. They're there to catch up with friends and stuff. So you really want to think, how can we grab attention? How can we hook them from the start? So some quick tips, put them straight into it. Another thing you can do is ask a question. So are you a fellow marketer? Are you looking for leads? Are you trying to sell an e-commerce product? Things like that you can do to grab people's attention right at the front. And then calling people out. Social Media Week Lima attendees, Lima residents, whatever you might want to say. You can call people out at the very beginning. And then a bold statement. So there was one great ad by this company called Dr. Squatch. In the very start of it, he basically was like, guys, your soap sucks. And like that's a great example of a bold statement. Like, how can we get people to pause, stop scrolling, and see like, oh, what are they actually talking about here with this messaging? So don't have a slow intro. Don't talk 10 seconds into the video. I did this ad for a conference once, and they were zooming out, and it was a beautiful venue like this, and they were zooming out on like this drone shot, and it looked all cool. And it was like 15 seconds in when they started to then talk about the conference. I'm like, you just lost everything. You had that roller coaster drop off. So think, how can we grab attention right at the beginning if you're talking? One of the things we did, we had a viral video. It got like over 2 million views. It literally was a guy going up to a van, and we cut off like the first 2 words of the sentence. Like there's things like that you could even do, like cut off the front, really just put people right into it. I always say a lot of people think about like movies when they make ads, and they want to like make something really beautiful and look really pretty. But like think more of like a movie trailer. Like how can we really just throw them into it, grab their attention at the front, and build that value, show them the messaging, get them to click and go to the site. And then again, too, don't show your message at the end. You'll see that drop off dive down really quickly. So show your product, show your messaging, show your brand at the beginning as fast as you can. And don't show your branding at the end. All right, so I know I'm getting tight on time, but we're going to get through this. All right, so make better creative. This is one of the things I love to do. You can, I can send this sheet to you guys, too. Like, feel free to message me. I'm at Tony Does Ads everywhere online. We can send you this sheet. What you do here is you just go through and you write down in different columns, what are different hook ideas that we can say? Like what's a bold statement? What's a question? What are some facts? What's the pain point that we can just throw people into? You can write out your pain points next and think about, like, again, going through that research. What are people mentioning? What are those pain points? And then we'll go into agitating the problem. I always tell people it's like those great infomercials where you saw, like, a mom in the kitchen. It was, like, black and white, and she was just frustrated, like, oh, it's such a mess, like that kind of stuff. That's kind of agitating the problem. Make people feel that emotion of the pain point that they might have. You'll get this, so don't worry about it. We're going to keep going. So again, wrapping up here, hook people at the start, grab attention from the very beginning. introduce your product and brand quickly. And then the third one is a call to action. So tell people what to do next. Sometimes the process might be long. You might have that on the landing page of the site, but sometimes I might say that in the video too, like, fill out the sheet and we'll get in touch with you in 24 hours or something like that. Tell people what to do next. And then fifth is analyze, and this is huge for ads. Now, again, the data is a bit more muddier now, so it's a little bit tricky. But again, if you can have a separate landing page, you can look at that data, use Google Analytics, and use Facebook ads to see what's going on there with your traffic. Are people buying? Are we getting leads from these pages? So you kind of want to look at this, like, what's going on here? I'm going to show some of the favorite metrics that I like to look at. What we do is we basically have those goals, like they want to hit, they want to acquire a lead for $50 or $60 or something like that. If we're terribly off that goal, it's costing us $100. It's kind of like red light, turn those ads off, cut them right away kind of thing. If they're close, like let's say we're trying to get like a $50 lead, they're coming in at $52, $55. So what you want to do then is like think about what can we do for like a different hook? Is the call to action very good? Is it really getting people to click? Why is there a gap there? Is the site need some fixing up? Can we get that messaging aligned there? And then green light, that's basically like, Tony, you are killing it. We got $40 leads, $30 leads. Let's just keep spending. So a lot of times that's when we get into scaling and kind of ramping up the budget there. So again, it comes back to those foundational goals. So some metrics that I like to look at. Does my ad grab attention? So I really look at what's called a thumb stop rate. It's sort of like a new metric that's kind of popped up now in ways. Thumb stop rate, or some people call it a scroll stop rate. So this is sort of like your 3-second views divided by impressions. So this is basically, and preface this with like, don't really judge these like numbers. I put some numbers of like rough estimates that you should strive for, but it's very different for a lot of different industries, so take that with a grain of salt. But thumb stop rate is basically if people are scrolling, are they actually stopping and watching that video for 3 seconds, or are they not? This will really tell you, is your hook working? Is it grabbing attention? Is it doing the job that it needs to do? The next one that I look at is the ad enticing, and that's going to be the click-through rate, right? So are people actually going to the site from the ad? Is it doing the job, or is it way off, and we need to do some more research, get creepy again with catfish, call it Neve. And then a good one, I would say, is 1.5% and better. Again, take it with a grain of salt. It really depends on the industry. Really, you just want to be looking at these numbers and working to improve them, looking at the data, seeing what's working. Is your hook working? Are people clicking through, or are they not? And then does my site sell without friction? So you're going to look at the conversion rate, as Kim was just talking about there. What can we do to make that conversion rate better? Again, grain of salt, 3% plus is great for me. This is e-commerce. If you're doing info products and other things, those can be a lot higher. If you have landing pages, they could be a lot higher. But you want to look at this conversion rate and think about what you can do to make your messaging more clear and get people to do that goal that you set out to do. So that's analyze. So we're going to go through it real quick. Recap. Foundation, research, setup, creative, and analyze. If you kind of look, it's sort of like frisky. I know. I was trying. I don't know. So yeah, foundation, write out your goals. Research, know your prospects, dive into the data, see what's going on there. Why do people love you? What are the pain points that they're happening? You'll see a lot of times people are buying or doing business for you sometimes, especially with e-commerce. They're buying more for the role that something might give them, like this jacket, for example. I'm not necessarily buying it for the functionality of like a business coat. Like it's obviously because I'm like, I want to be outgoing. Like I'm buying it for the role. I want to be a flashy dude. Like I want to be like just a party animal, whatever it might be, right? So do the research, figure out what people are buying for, the real reason. Sometimes it's not even the functionality of it being a coat. It might be the role that thing is giving them. And then setup. Again, figure out those goals, go to your site. Are things aligning here? If I'm trying to get a phone number, is there a phone number on the site? Is it there? Is it easy to find? And then creative. Think about grabbing attention, thinking about the hook. What can we do to grab attention at the start and keep people watching, because that's huge right now. And then analyze. Look at that data. Look at your goals that you set out. Is it a red light? Is it yellow? Is it green? And what are we doing from that? So if you want the slides, you can go to my site here, tonydoesads.com/social media week lime. I'm sure we can send them out to after the event. Take a screenshot, do what you need to do there. And then this is my email here and my site if anyone has any more questions. And I'll be around all day today, so feel free to reach out. Like I'm definitely down to help you guys out. It's gotten a lot more complicated in a lot of ways. I didn't hit any of these out. I'm sorry. Oh, geez. Sorry, Matt. Just gonna... All right. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.